golden heart of the African savannah, where the sun leads into the earth each morning and the wind carries stories older than time itself. A lion cub was born under skies cracked with thunder. He was a tiny, shivering form nestled beside his exhausted mother as distant roars echoed across the plains. No one could have imagined that this fragile cub would one day alter the balance of an entire kingdom. Not the circling vultures, not the grazing herds, not even the ancient baobab trees. From his very first breath, destiny stood watching. He was smaller than the others, and weaker. He was pushed aside by his siblings during feeding, his legs trembling beneath him as if mocked by fate itself. But within his wide amber eyes burned a quiet fire, a stubborn will that refused to be extinguished. While the pride saw him as a burden, his mother saw something different. She saw a spark, an unexplainable whisper of survival against all odds. But cruelty arrived early. A devastating drought strangled the land. Prey vanished, and hunger turned brother against brother. During one desperate migration under a ruthless sun, chaos struck. Rival lions attacked, and the pride scattered in a storm of dust and teeth. In the confusion, the cub was separated, lost. He was left alone, crying into an endless night while hyenas lurked and the moon offered only cold silence. That night should have been his end, yet it became his beginning. Fear taught him awareness. Loneliness sharpened his senses. Hunger taught him patience. Days passed like years as he learned to survive on insects, stolen scraps, and sheer instinct. His paws grew tougher on the burning ground, his body became scarred, but his spirit remained unbroken. His journey was a tapestry of near misses. He encountered danger in countless forms: snakes coiled beneath bushes, buffalo that charged without warning, and rivers that promised life but delivered death. Yet, he endured. He survived not by strength but by adaptation. He moved when others slept. He watched when others rushed, and he listened, always listening to the silent rhythm of the wild. He learned the land's secrets, its hidden paths, its quiet warnings. The world was a harsh teacher, but its lessons were profound. Then came the turning point. He crossed paths with an old, battle-worn lion, an exile just like himself. This old lion was a ghost of former glory, his mane thin, his body a map of old wounds. In the young cub, he saw a reflection of his own lost youth, a chance to pass on a lifetime of hard-won knowledge. Under the blistering sun and in the quiet of star-filled nights, the old lion taught him what no pride ever could. He taught him how to read the wind, how to track the stars, and how to understand the language of the prey. He taught him how to pick battles wisely, demonstrating that true power is found in restraint, not in rage. The cub absorbed every lesson, every story, every scar. When the old lion finally succumbed to age, the cub mourned his only mentor, but he also inherited his wisdom, carrying it forward like a sacred flame. The cub was no longer a cub. Seasons had changed and he had grown. He was not the largest lion, nor the strongest, but he was unmatched in perception. He was a lion who understood the land itself, its delicate cycles, its intricate web of life. He carried the weight of his past not as a burden, but as his greatest strength. Fate, in its own mysterious way, guided him back toward his birthplace. But the kingdom he found was in ruins. It was ruled by tyrannical males who hoarded resources, broke the ancient laws of the savannah, and plunged the entire ecosystem into chaos. The prey was disappearing. The water holes were guarded with brutal force, and fear ruled all. The balance was broken. Something ancient and powerful stirred within the lion now grown. It was a call to act, not for dominance but for restoration. He did not charge in blindly, a fool's errand against superior numbers. Instead, he used the wisdom he had learned in exile. He moved with strategy and patience, uniting the broken and the forgotten outcast lions, shattered prides, and even other species who sensed a change was coming. He weakened the tyranny not through brute force alone, but through the careful disruption of control. He reclaimed water sources for all, restored old hunting paths, and slowly, piece by piece, he began to force balance back where greed once ruled. He was a ghost in the long grass, a whisper on the wind, a symbol of hope to the oppressed. The final confrontation came beneath a burning red sky. It wasn't just a fight between lions, It was a battle between two philosophies of power. On one side stood brutal force and selfish greed. On the other stood the lion who was once a starving cub, his scars telling a story of survival, his roar echoing not with anger, but with unshakable resolve. It was a fight for the soul of the savannah. When the dust finally settled, the kingdom breathed again. The tyrants were gone. The grass returned, the herds followed, and life surged forward in a vibrant, revitalized wave. Legends of his victory spread across the plains, but they were not stories of a conqueror. They were stories of a guardian, a king who had earned his crown not through bloodshed, but through wisdom and sacrifice. He was a lion who proved that greatness isn't born from privilege, but carved from suffering. He showed that leadership isn't claimed through fear, but earned through service. Generations later, mothers would whisper his story to their cubs beneath starlit skies, a timeless lesson for all to hear. They would tell them that no matter how small you are, how lost you feel, or how broken the world seems, your destiny isn't written at birth. It is written by every step you take when the world expects you to fall. Because once upon a time, there was a lion cub who had nothing, and in changing himself, he changed everything. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it.